Good morning. My name's Tom Sikota, and I'm the president and CEO of AlloSource. I've had that honor for 19 years. I appreciate the congratulations for our 25th that people gave to me this morning. But the congratulations go to all of you and all of our employees, and I'll recognize some folks as we go through this. So thank you all for coming this morning. What a marvelous day. Hopefully the sun will peak out, and it'll go up about another 10 degrees. But what a great day to celebrate such an exceptional company. 25 years ago, forward-thinking executives, Jerry Anderson from what was then called the Regional Organ Bank of Illinois, Dean Capel from Mid-America Transplant Services in St. Louis, and Pat Brewster from Donor Alliance here in Denver got together and realized the need for tissue donation to stay locally, to happen locally, and for transplantation to happen locally with that tissue bank, and that's how AlloSource was founded. AlloSource is a community-minded organization founded with the ultimate mission to do more with life. We start with a tissue donor, and we transform that tissue donor into something usable for surgeons and physicians across the country and around the world. When we started, tissue donation itself was in its infancy. People didn't quite understand tissue donation. Everybody understands organ donation, but they didn't quite understand tissue donation. And over the last 25 years, the amount of tissue donors that are available has absolutely skyrocketed. That's been interesting for us because as the tissue donors skyrocket, we, AlloSource, have to find new uses for that tissue to make sure that we fully utilize it. And that's what doing more with life really means. Taking a donor, maximizing that sacred gift that we get, and ensure that donated tissue is used with recipients in the best use. What a long way we've come in the last 25 years. So over the last 25 years, and to give you some statistics, when we started the predecessor organization, and Dr. Russ Wilkins, who founded that predecessor organization, Mile High Transplant, they used to do 2 donors a month. For the people who don't really know our business, and I know my colleagues and friends who work for us understand, yesterday we did 19 donors. And that was the start of a session that led to more than 500 code numbers that come out the back end. So from 2 donors a month, that would impact probably about 100 patients a year. We will do over 8,000 donors this year and impact more than 250,000 people around the world. Over the last 25 years, we've become the largest provider of living cellular transplants in the world. All of that happens here in Centennial. We're the largest provider of cartilage, living cartilage. We're the largest provider of skin for burns in the world. We distribute our tissue in every state in the country and in 26 foreign countries around the world. Truly, we tried to count up the number of individual patients that we've impacted over 25 years, but we can be safe to say it's in the millions of people we've impacted. We've restored life and we've restored movement back to people around the world. Our original 3 organ procurement organizations have grown to 5 now. Upstate New York Transplant Services units joined us in 2006. Iowa Donor Network joined us in 2009. And we've had close to 20-year relationships with the organ agencies in San Diego, which is Life Sharing, and Life Center Organ Donor Network in Cincinnati. And I'd like a big round of applause for our OPO partners because they make it happen. So our founding members and the new members are also on our board of directors, and I do want to recognize our board of directors who joined us today for this celebration. Suzanne Conrad is our chair of the board and the CEO of Iowa Donor Network. Mark Simon, who's not in the front row. Where's Mark? He's about as far back as you can be. There he is. Oh, he's on the phone. Mark is the CEO of Upstate New York Transplant Services, and he's the vice chair of the board. Diane Brockmeyer, who's up here wearing her assigned seat, is the CEO of Mid-America Transplant in St. Louis. Kevin Smunt is the CEO of Gift of Hope Organ Donor Network in Chicago, and a 12-year employee of AlloSource, I'll point out. So started his career in donation here at AlloSource. And then Sue Dunn is the CEO of our local OPO Donor Alliance. And the other person I want to recognize, and he's been a longtime supporter and an ex-board member, is Kevin Smith, who is our ex-secretary treasurer. There he is right there. I talk about it all the time. We are a growth company, and we grow and develop. We grow by developing and implementing regenerative medicine products. We put people back together after trauma, after cancer, after injury, and we do that through a mission balance approach of maximizing the donor while taking care of the money side of what we do. We've had many notable events. In 2006, we acquired U.S. Tissue and Cell from the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, and that transformed our business. We have several people, Mike Rudy, who I said I would call out, but Mike is here. We have several other people here who are from the original U.S. Tissue and Cell acquisition. I just want you to raise your hands if you could and be recognized for all you've done for us over the last 13 years. Also in 2006, it was a busy year, we partnered with Community Tissue Services and formed Joint Restoration Foundation. So we've had a 13-year relationship with Community Tissue Services. JRF is the premier distributor of living cartilage and meniscus grafts around the world. They just, through the efforts of our people, just transplanted a meniscus graft in South Africa yesterday. And that's what we do for the impact around the world. In 2007, we became the largest provider of living cells with our relationship with NuVasive with OsteoCell. And we've been producing OsteoCell for, again, the internal people. Everybody knows the importance of OsteoCell, what that means to us each and every day. In 2008, we became a medical device company. We registered as a medical device company. So we went from human cells and tissues to medical devices. And in 2011, we became a biologics company with the FDA. So we've increasingly become more sophisticated with what we do. 2012, April of 2012, we moved into this building. We dedicated in September of 2012. So we've been in this building for about 7 years, and that's been a great move for us. In 2013, we became the sole manufacturer for human blood vessels. For those of you all who don't know, we take cells, we grow the cells, and then we grow human blood vessels in bioreactors. It is science fiction in action. And we've been doing that. It's been transplanted in patients around the world. They're in phase 3 clinical trial that is just getting finished right now, and that will be a commercial product sometime in the next 2 years. We're the sole manufacturer of these blood vessels. It's a big deal. We're a nonprofit, which doesn't mean no profit. It means what do you do with your money? And we give money back to communities. We've given back close to $65 million to local communities in the form of charitable contributions. We help fund the Phoenix Society and their support for burn survivors post-burn. We've funded scholarships and work with the Limb Preservation Foundation, and I know there's some Limb Preservation Foundation folks here today to help people being restored after cancer, trauma, or infection to life and limbs. We give tissue to multiple organizations, the biggest being Mercy Ships, which goes overseas and parks a ship in a country and takes care of people who otherwise couldn't be taken care of surgically. And we also participate very strongly with a doctor group called ROC that looks at juvenile cartilage and how juvenile cartilage breaks down. We do great things each and every day, and I just want to recognize that for you with both what we do with the tissue as well as what we do with the outcomes of the tissue. 25 years is a remarkable milestone. I looked it up. Less than 2% of companies survive 25 years. And I will tell you, survive, I thought about that word a lot. Survive's the right word for companies because companies go ups and downs and ins and outs, and surviving for 25 years, thriving for 25 years is an exceptional accomplishment. I've recognized the board. I want to recognize several other folks that are here. I don't know if we have anybody from the city of Centennial here, but if you are, there we go. Thank you. We love being here in Centennial. You all have been great to work with. We still have expansion plans, like our board of directors this afternoon will hear about some of our expansion plans. So thank you all you do for being such a good community. I also want to recognize our vendors. We have a lot of vendors here. We coupled this with a vendor day So if you're a vendor, please raise your hand so we can recognize you. We do incredibly complex things. We are time sensitive to the tissue, we're time sensitive to the cells, and doing all of that works because we have dedicated vendors that march right alongside us as we do it. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for your continued support. And the last group of people I want to recognize are employees. It truly is incredible what happens here every day. If I'm this bad now, it's going to get worse. So it truly is, I am in awe of what happens here. If you know what we do here, everybody has a role, and everybody's role is critical to making it work. From the person who collects the money, and I just happen to see her in the back there, so I'm going to recognize her, to the people who handle the tissue and the core, it truly is a miracle. It starts upstream with the organ agencies, but when the tissue comes to us, it makes all of the difference in the world for what we do. Finally, I want to recognize two special people. You'll hear from Dr. Wilkins in just a second. Dr. Ross Wilkins helped founded the organization, and really has been the heart and soul of what we do every day. Orthopedic oncology surgeon who retired a couple years ago. We're fortunate that he's with us as a senior medical director, and now we have him full time. And Dr. Stephen Gatellis, who's here somewhere, is, oh, there we go, hi. He is at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago. Dr. Gatellis and Dr. Wilkins are really the folks who helped the CEOs who came together bring the science and the tissue donors together. So thank you all for what you did 25 years ago to bring us together. And with that, I'm going to bring up the chairman of the board. This is the biggest round of applause you should give today, Suzanne Conrad, to say a couple words.